Jay Prince just dropped a message on the whole rap game that nobody expected, and the timing made it hit even harder because most people thought this drama was already finished. Finesse2Tymes appears to be tied to one of the toughest contracts in independent rap, and the man controlling that deal just made his position loud and clear. No matter how much money NBA YoungBoy may be ready to put on the table, that door is not opening easily. Not today, and definitely not on those terms. Social media keeps showing loyalty, brotherhood, and big smiles between YoungBoy and Finesse, but behind that public image, a serious business clash may be unfolding where fans cannot see it. Jay Prince did not build Rap-A-Lot Records into a respected empire by allowing artists to leave whenever another powerful name came calling, and that is what makes this story much deeper than the posts flooding your timeline. The real question is why Finesse2Tymes cannot simply make a move and join YoungBoy, what the contract may actually require, and what Jay Prince's reaction reveals about who really holds the leverage in this industry. We are breaking down every angle, separating facts from online talk, and showing why this situation could get messy fast before anybody backs down. Welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here, we focus on breaking down the real industry politics, street connections, and behind-the-scenes power moves that mainstream outlets often overlook or rush past without proper explanation. Today, we are diving into one of the most complicated situations in hip-hop right now, involving Jay Prince, Finesse2Tymes, and NBA YoungBoy. This situation sits at the intersection of business, loyalty, and street culture, making it far more layered than what most people are seeing on the surface. Stay tuned, because what it could actually take for Finesse to get out of this deal might surprise a lot of people. Before we go any further, let's be honest about something. Social media has been flooded with opinions, fan theories, and people picking sides as if they have seen the full contracts and understand every detail. In reality, most people are only working with small pieces of the story. Some are placing the blame on Jay Prince, others are supporting YoungBoy, and many are acting like Finesse can simply walk away whenever he chooses. But that is not how contracts work. In this breakdown, we are going to separate confirmed information from internet speculation and explain how this complicated situation developed into what it is today. To understand this situation, you have to look at who all three men are, not only as artists or public figures, but as players moving inside a world built on loyalty, reputation, and strict codes. Jay Prince is more than a music executive. He is one of the most respected names in hip-hop history, and his influence reaches far beyond record deals. He built Rap-A-Lot Records from nothing in Houston, Texas, at a time when the industry barely treated Houston like a serious music market. Over the years, he developed talent, navigated intense business politics, and maintained a street reputation that even critics have acknowledged. Finesse2Tymes comes from Memphis and has been building real momentum with a raw style that feels honest and unpolished. His music connects with listeners because it carries that heavy Memphis sound and speaks directly to people who understand his background and experiences. There is an authenticity in his delivery that resonates with fans who value real-life storytelling over polished industry formulas. When NBA YoungBoy began showing him public support, the connection did not feel random. Fans could see the chemistry immediately, and the alliance appeared natural from the outside. It looked like a meeting of similar energies, where mutual respect and shared experiences created a bond that made sense both musically and culturally. YoungBoy has always connected with artists who feel genuine, slightly rough around the edges, and built from the ground up. But this is where the story gets interesting, because Finesse2Tymes did not reach this level of attention without serious strings attached. Those strings lead back to a deal involving Jay Prince that may be much more complex than fans realize. To understand the situation, it helps to break down exactly what Finesse2Tymes appears to be tied to, since this agreement sits at the center of everything. Reports suggest that he is under a 360 deal, which is very different from the traditional record contracts many people are familiar with. In a traditional deal, a label typically helps an artist record, promote, and distribute music, then takes an agreed percentage from those music sales. That was usually the main exchange between the artist and the label. A 360 deal, however, goes much further. Under this type of arrangement, a label or a management company can receive a share from multiple parts of an artist's income. This can include music sales, touring revenue, merchandise, endorsements, and other business opportunities connected to the artist's brand. We are talking about recorded music, but that is only the beginning. Touring, merchandise, endorsements, acting roles, brand deals, publishing, and almost every other income stream can be included. The company basically places itself in position to collect a piece whenever the artist gets paid. In the right setup, with a team that is truly investing and opening doors, a 360 deal can benefit an artist because the company has more reason to push the entire career instead of only selling records. But when trust breaks down, the artist wants out, or a bigger opportunity appears somewhere else, that same agreement can start feeling like a locked room with no easy exit. And that is where this situation gets serious. Finesse2Tymes is reportedly dealing with more than a basic 360 arrangement. Based on claims surrounding the situation, the terms may give Jay Prince and his organization major control over several parts of Finesse's career, including how he earns, where he releases music, and which commercial collaborations can officially happen. It could also mean that any move toward NBA YoungBoy or another label would need to be carefully negotiated, approved, and financially structured before Finesse could legally switch sides without triggering an expensive contract battle behind closed doors first. That means even if YoungBoy showed up with enough money to buy Finesse out, this would not be a simple situation where somebody writes a check and walks away. A deal like this can include terms that must be negotiated one by one, clauses that protect the original company's financial interest after a buyout, and possible restrictions that could slow down any fast move into a new label setup, especially when royalties and business percentages could remain attached for years afterward. Here is the part people keep missing. Jay Prince is not negotiating from desperation. When you have built the kind of legacy, money, and industry network he has, you do not have to accept every offer that lands on the table. He can wait, study the situation, and hold his position. In a contract dispute, patience can become the biggest weapon because the side that needs the deal done fastest usually gives up the most. And when an artist signs with somebody carrying Jay Prince's name, it is bigger than a normal label agreement. They are connecting themselves to a reputation, a business network, and years of influence that reach beyond music alone. That kind of weight has real value, and Jay Prince clearly understands what his name and organization bring to an artist's career. That is why he may feel no pressure to release Finesse2Tymes from a deal he believes was fair, valid, and entered into willingly. But this is where the story gets even more interesting. To understand why YoungBoy would reportedly be trying to buy Finesse out of this contract, you have to look back at the road they traveled before reaching this public brotherhood. That road was not smooth, and these two were not always showing each other the same love fans see today. At one point, NBA YoungBoy and Finesse2Tymes appeared to have real tension between them. Their issues surfaced publicly, and with both artists carrying strong reputations, loyal crews, and serious pride, the situation had the potential to grow beyond social media comments and indirect lyrics. That is what happens when street politics and rap politics get mixed together. Every post gets studied, every lyric gets decoded, and even a small misunderstanding can suddenly feel much bigger than it really is. Both men come from environments where respect carries heavy weight, and neither one built his name by backing down easily. When artists with that kind of energy clash, the problem can pull in friends, associates, and fans who were never part of the original disagreement. Details about what allegedly started the friction were discussed through interviews, online posts, and comments connected to both sides at the time. But like most rap disputes, different versions began spreading, making it difficult to separate what truly happened from what the internet added to the story behind the scenes from the beginning. There were shots exchanged, but not the kind documented in police reports. These were indirect moves, cold energy, shortened conversations, and signs that alliances were shifting. Inside the Memphis to Louisiana lane of rap politics, the tension between Finesse and YoungBoy seemed serious enough that people close to those circles were paying attention. But here is what many people miss when they discuss a rap beef ending. When two men with strong reputations, loyal connections, and pride settle their issues, it is bigger than a quick handshake or a staged picture for social media. Ending that kind of conflict sends a message about maturity, leverage, and knowing when the bigger play matters more than old tension. That appears to be what happened with YoungBoy and Finesse2Tymes. Whatever disagreement existed between them was eventually put aside, and they returned with a different energy. From the outside, it did not look like a forced industry moment designed only for cameras. Their renewed connection appeared genuine, making the next chapter even more surprising because former tension was turning into public loyalty, support, and serious business conversations. You could tell by how they moved and publicly supported each other that this reconnection felt genuine. YoungBoy bringing Finesse closer did not look like a cold business decision, or at least not only that. There seemed to be real respect for what Finesse represents as an artist and somebody who built his name through pressure. That is what makes the contract issue so frustrating from YoungBoy's side. He reportedly wants to support, invest in, and build with Finesse, but an existing business structure may be blocking that partnership from taking shape. What looks simple to fans becomes complicated once contracts, percentages, approvals, and long-term obligations enter the picture. That frustration may explain why YoungBoy reportedly explored buying Finesse out of the deal. This was not presented like some random label shopping spree. It looked more like YoungBoy trying to look after somebody he now considers part of his camp. In hip-hop culture, that move carries weight because money creates opportunities, but stepping up during a difficult business situation can build loyalty that no contract, social media post, or staged appearance could copy. Now, this story gets a serious layer when you look at the history between NBA YoungBoy and J Prince, because these two are not entering any negotiation with a clean slate. There has already been tension between them, and in the world they move through, old issues shape every conversation. J Prince has crossed paths with situations connected to YoungBoy before, so this is not two strangers discussing a deal. The dynamic between an OG with J Prince's influence and a younger star from YoungBoy's generation was never going to be basic. Respect has to be shown, boundaries matter, and neither side wants to look weak in front of the industry or the streets. When powerful people have business goals that do not line up, the disagreement can sit there for a long time. Neither man built his position by folding quickly, and both carry enough pride and influence to hold firm. That makes any conversation about Finesse2Tymes more delicate, because the contract is only one part of the pressure around this situation. People in hip-hop have been discussing the tension between J Prince and YoungBoy for a long time. J Prince has made public comments that showed he was not moved by YoungBoy's popularity, fan base, or the money and influence surrounding him. That is not how J Prince carries himself. He has spent decades dealing with industry figures in high-pressure situations, and he built his reputation by refusing to surrender his position when things got uncomfortable. So for J Prince, YoungBoy reportedly trying to buy Finesse out is bigger than a number written on a check. In the world J Prince comes from, how somebody approaches the conversation matters just as much as the offer. You cannot walk in, act like you are taking an artist from his camp, and expect the deal to happen without showing respect. You have to recognize the relationship already in place, the money that was invested, and the work that helped move Finesse forward. That is why J Prince responding publicly makes this situation hit differently. He could have kept every discussion private and handled it behind closed doors, but he chose to speak where everybody could hear him. That decision was not random. It looked like a clear message that any move involving Finesse would happen on his terms, with his position acknowledged before business could go any further. That response sends a message to the industry. J. Prince is not ignoring what is happening, and he will not let anybody shape a story that erases the contract terms or the people who invested in Finesse2Tymes before the buzz exploded. From his perspective, the money and support already attached to Finesse must be respected before anyone discusses a new deal. When somebody with J. Prince's status speaks about business, it does not mean he feels threatened. It can mean he is creating a record so the situation cannot be twisted later. He is essentially saying, we all see what's happening here. We all know what was agreed to, and the terms of that agreement are going to be honored. That is a power move, plain and simple. But the deeper part of his response goes beyond Finesse2Tymes and NBA YoungBoy. This situation appears to touch a principle J. Prince has protected throughout his career. Agreements matter, investments must be recognized, and nobody gets to rewrite the rules once an artist becomes valuable. That explains why he is standing firm instead of treating this like a buyout conversation. This comes down to one principle: agreements should mean something, and the people who took the first risk deserve respect when the artist finally takes off. Let's cut through the surface level noise. When Finesse2Tymes signed his deal, he did not have the same buzz, leverage, or momentum he carries today. J. Prince was betting on potential before the wider industry caught on. That is how the music business has always worked at its core. Somebody notices talent early, then puts money, connections, time, and energy behind developing that artist. The contract usually reflects the risk taken before success is guaranteed. So, when that gamble starts paying off, the company expects the original agreement to be honored, not pushed aside because a more attractive opportunity suddenly appears. From J. Prince's viewpoint, NBA YoungBoy entered after the momentum had already grown and reportedly tried to move that value into a different camp. That would not feel like a basic business conversation. It could look like a direct challenge to the entire system J. Prince has built his name on. By responding publicly, he was not only drawing a line for YoungBoy, but also for every executive, artist, and manager watching the situation unfold. The message sounded clear: I am not a man whose investments can be outbid away once they start paying off. That is why this moment carries more cultural weight than a standard contract disagreement. To understand it fully, you need to understand exactly what J. Prince represents in this world. Rap-A-Lot Records and the business machine J. Prince built around it have carried weight in hip-hop for decades. He has faced pressure that went far beyond label meetings, and his reputation comes from standing firm when other executives might have folded. What gives his words so much power is the consistency behind them. When J. Prince speaks publicly about how he handles business, people listen because his actions have usually matched his message. That reputation is exactly why the Finesse2Tymes situation is so difficult. The problem is not only the contract language. The person controlling that agreement appears to have both the legal authority and the cultural influence to hold his position. A fan base, loud social media support, and a rich artist offering money do not automatically force him to accept another outcome. So now we reach the question everybody wants answered. What would it really take to get Finesse2Tymes released from this deal? People keep saying YoungBoy has enough money to make it happen, but cash is only one part of this chess match. The buyout number would likely need to cover past investment, future earnings, lost opportunities, and every remaining interest connected to Finesse. Even then, J. Prince would have to believe the terms respect the original agreement and his position in the deal. First, let's deal with the money side, because the numbers are real even if they do not explain the whole situation. Buying an artist out of a 360 deal is not as simple as paying back in advance and calling everything settled. A full buyout can involve projected earnings from every revenue stream the original company expected to share in. That may include touring money for the rest of the contract, merchandise sales, publishing income, endorsements, and possible brand partnerships connected to the current setup. Every one of those future income streams has to be estimated, negotiated, and priced into the number. and the side holding the contract has control over that calculation. They can base the price on what they believe Finesse2Tymes could earn moving forward, not only what he has already made. Since his momentum appears to be growing, those estimates would probably be aggressive rather than low. Real talk, when an artist under a 360 deal starts heating up fast, the buyout price can jump into a range that even an independent artist may struggle to cover without putting pressure on their own money, team, and future business plans. YoungBoy may have serious money, but whether he can meet a buyout figure J Prince would actually accept without hurting his own operation is another question entirely. A price can look possible on paper and still make little business sense once every future cost is added. Second, money alone would not settle this because these are not two strangers making a clean transaction. With J Prince involved, the approach, the respect shown, and the structure of any agreement could matter just as much as the number. YoungBoy could not simply send a payment and expect the issue to disappear. Any resolution would likely have to recognize what J Prince believes he is owed financially, while also acknowledging his role, investment, and position throughout the situation. Third, this is the part many people miss completely. Even after a buyout, some contract terms may continue. In certain 360 deals, specific clauses survive the exit, meaning the original company could still retain percentages, rights, or other financial interests tied to future income for years to come. Publishing rights created might not transfer right away, and revenue from projects released under the old deal could keep being shared for a set period. The label may retain ownership or control over certain recordings made while the contract was active. Any agreement Finesse signs after a buyout could come with limits, approvals, or financial strings attached. Every one of those details would need its own negotiation, and any clause could slow the whole process down. Think about that for a second. Even if YoungBoy and J Prince agreed on a buyout price tomorrow, separating everything tied together inside a 360 deal could still take months of legal talks and business meetings. During that time, Finesse2Tymes could remain stuck in limbo, unable to move as freely as fans expect. People familiar with these contracts have been watching closely, and many believe J Prince holds the stronger hand. YoungBoy may have money and influence, but J Prince controls the agreement, the rights, and the timeline. This is not about J Prince being more powerful as a person. The real advantage comes from the legal structure, because the contract gives him options that the side trying to purchase the deal simply does not have. That is where the leverage really sits. But this story is bigger than a business clash between two major names with money, influence, and history. At the center of everything is Finesse2Tymes and what this situation could mean for his career. That part often gets buried under all the public back and forth surrounding J Prince and YoungBoy. Finesse is caught in a genuinely difficult position. YoungBoy clearly respects what he brings, reportedly wants to invest in him, and has the audience and reach to push Finesse's movement to another level. Opportunities like that do not appear every day. Artists can grind for years hoping to receive that kind of cosign, support, and access from somebody with YoungBoy's platform. Having that opportunity sitting right there while a contract limits how fully he can use it has to be frustrating. At the same time, Finesse signed with J Prince because that partnership made sense at that stage of his career. J Prince's name, network, protection, and business experience carried real value then, and that value cannot simply be erased now either. Being connected to J Prince's camp can bring a level of support, industry access, and credibility that is not easy to replace. The challenge for Finesse is figuring out how to move without damaging that relationship, while also not letting the opportunity connected to YoungBoy completely slip away. That is a tightrope walk. Every public move matters now. How Finesse communicates, who he appears beside, what he says, and even what he chooses not to say. No matter how this contract situation ends, those decisions could follow him for years and shape how executives, artists, and fans view his business judgment. The culture is paying attention because complicated moments reveal more than lyrics ever could. This is where loyalty, patience, and smart decision-making get tested in real time. At the end of the day, the situation involving J Prince, Finesse2Tymes, and NBA YoungBoy is bigger than one contract dispute between three people. It shows how power really works inside the music industry. Early investors build protection into deals, personal loyalty collides with legal paperwork, and even wealthy artists can hit a wall when they try to move inside systems that were established long before they arrived. Finesse may be the artist in the middle, but the outcome could send a message across the entire rap business. J Prince built his empire on a simple code: agreements matter, a man's word carries weight, and respect is never optional. In his world, respect is the currency that keeps everything moving. Whether people agree with how this situation is unfolding or not, J Prince appears to be operating exactly as he always has. He is holding firm to the same principles that shaped his name, reputation, and the empire he built. YoungBoy's reported attempt to bring Finesse closer also fits how he has always moved. Loyalty sits at the center of his decisions, even when standing beside people has cost him money, peace, or public support. Trying to help Finesse escape a deal that may limit what they can build together looks like a loyalty play, and that carries real weight in hip-hop culture. Meanwhile, Finesse2Tymes is stuck right in the middle. His career, relationships, and next move are under a microscope now, while two powerful figures hold different visions for his future. Everybody can debate the contract and choose sides, but Finesse is the only person who feels the pressure of being pulled between the man who invested early and the man offering a new career direction. The real question is whether J Prince finds a number and deal structure that works for him, or whether this becomes a long-term standoff where nobody wins. More importantly, what does this situation reveal about artist freedom, agreements, and how power moves behind the scenes at hip-hop's highest level? The answers may start showing themselves over the next few months, and when they do, Dripzine will be here breaking down every move without industry spin. Do you think YoungBoy can put together an offer to free Finesse, or is J Prince holding the one hand nobody at this table can beat? Drop your take in the comments because I want to know where everybody stands. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to Dripzine, and turn on your notifications so you never miss another deep dive into the politics shaping hip-hop. Then, tap the video on your screen right now for another story the mainstream keeps brushing past. I'll catch you in the next one. Salute.